Well, if Africa and the weak countries were complaining about that, why was it that this year alone 12 African countries proposed judges to the court? 30 of the 108 nations who signed up to the court are from Africa.
That's true. That's true.
So,
but Africans are increasingly
where are these
the same
neo-colonialists that your government is complaining about when
talking about
the court?
When they decided to introduce a linkage between the Security Council and the ICC, that was where it went wrong.
The ICC remains independent.
It's not.
You know that.
It's not, because cases are referred to it by the Security Council.
That doesn't mean that it doesn't have independence.
Yes, because the Security Council is the most politicized institution in the world.
You would be complaining whoever had sent the case, wouldn't you?
No, this because it was the Security Council who sent the case. It shouldn't have been sent by the Security Council.
Why wouldn't your president want to have his day in court? He faces some of the most serious charges that can be leveled at anybody on this planet. If he's innocent, as you say, and he says, why wouldn't he want his day in court to clear his name?
Because in the second reason I mentioned, I have claims about the neutrality and the impartiality of the court. I have objections to the court.
If he's innocent, he shouldn't have a problem.
Well, if he's innocent and the court is not innocent, they won't judge him as innocent. That's what I'm saying.
Atabani, thank you very much indeed. Let me just remind you of the motion. This House believes that Arab states should hand over the Sudanese president to the International Criminal Court. I'm going to take your questions now. Gentleman in the third row, you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tim Sebastian. I have a question to the side for the motion.
Where are you from, please?
I am Ahmed Abdullah. I'm from Kenya.
From Kenya?
Yeah. So, sticking by the rule of law, is there any place in the constitution of ICC that stipulates a president in power can be indicted? If so, could you help us in stating it?
The statute of Rome is very clear that regardless of any official position, any member of the government or general, army general or something, he has to be persecuted if he committed certain crimes against humanity, war crimes and genocide and crime of genocide. That is very clear. And this is the main, characteristic of that statute, that people in power, whoever committed any kind of crime, should be held.
Okay, Ghazi Atabani.
We have to remember that the Statute of Rome is full of holes. The Statute of Rome does not see aggression or the use of nuclear power as a crime. So we have objections to the Statute of Rome. I don't think it's the most perfect statute. And we have, the second thing is the applicability. Okay, it might look nice, it might look beautiful, but in actual fact, we cannot imagine in our wildest dreams the Statute of Rome being applied to an American corporal, for instance, let alone an American president. So
whether there war crimes committed or not. I mean, I really would like a Sudanese official to answer this question.
The question
were there
is,
war crimes and crimes against humanity committed in Darfur?
You can say Bashir is a bad person, and I say
no. I'm not asking you. I'm asking you a very specific question.
Let him answer it then.
Yeah, you could say Bashir is a bad person. I could say he's a good person. That's my word against your word. It doesn't count.
That was not what I
what
said.
matters is, the question is the House of the opinion that Bashir should be handed over to the ICC? What I'm arguing is the ICC is not equipped, and the case is flimsy, the case is weak. It's not the way to do it.
All right, we're going to take another question. A gentleman in the third row, you, sir.
By sending President al-Bashir to the ICC, the questions for the motion. How long do you think Sudan can stay without a president, and who do you think can stay instead of President al-Bashir?
Would you like to answer?
I believe that as Sudanese, we have to address this challenge. That's why we are in Justice and Equality Movement propose that to have a transitional government of national unity, so that to address and to fill this vacuum.
Yeah, but who?
Who? Sorry?
Who would be the president?
I think for the Sudanese people to decide that. But we cannot accept that a war criminal, a suspected war criminal, actually to lead our country, and just because we don't want to change. We need to change, and we need actually Sudanese people to take that responsibility.
So you just arrest him, and you think you can have a normal election campaign and normal procedures?
I think the people of Sudan, What
about the CPA? How would that?
The comprehensive peace agreement.
The comprehensive peace agreement.
You cannot confine the CPA just for one person. Dr. Yongaram, who was the signatory of the
No,
CPA.
Excuse me,
according-
let Mr. Atabani say something.
According to the CPA, the president is the custodian, is the guardian of the peace agreement. So you want to take him away. How do you propose to solve the problem arising?
I'm puzzled by this point because, you know, a president could get an embolism and die tomorrow. A country does not collapse because its president.
Roland Marchal.
This is such a faith in dictatorship here.
I think you've made your point. Roland Marchal,
Yeah,
please.
the international community has been slightly schizophrenic about Sudan because on one side Sudan, or the Sudanese regime, is quote-unquote genocidal on Darfur. On the other side is a good ally in the war on terror. On the third side is a partner in the CPA, in the North-South peace agreement, which is very much valued in Western capitals. So the problem is we are talking about the same regime and it has three faces. So we have to find a way to get out of that. The ICC decision is just making all those things much more complicated and getting peace in Darfur as well as threatening or weakening peace in the North-South, a more likely scenario. So that is why the motion is not appropriate at this time.
Okay, Ahmed Hassan Adam, you want to come
What I
back?
say is you cannot say that, to use the entire country, just to use the Sudanese people as a shield from just to protect one person actually in Sudan. You cannot use actually to say that the CPA can collapse because if we indict al-Bashir, then the CPA will
Okay,
collapse.
all right, I'm going to move on
not
and take a question from the lady in the third row. Your question is for you, yes.
My name is Fabiha Naomi and I'm from Bangladesh. My question is to Dr. Atabani. 3 million people died, Dr. Atabani. This is not a flimsy case. We need something stronger than that.
Where did you get that figure from? That figure is off the top of your head, obviously. No, 3 million people died. 3 million people died in Darfur. You have to revise your information.
200,000
Al-Bashir.
No, I mean, characterizing a problem.
How many people died?
It's not a question of whether people should be tried or not. I'm not against justice.
Well, it is. That's what we're talking about, whether he should be handed over to the International Criminal Court.
The motion is, we either support it. Do you support the motion which is handing over Bashir to the ICC? What I'm saying is the ICC is not equipped. If you are talking about justice and how to achieve justice, then that's a different issue. We can talk about it. We can talk about the casualties, you can talk about those who died. That's a different question altogether. There are other ways of delivering justice.
Okay, all right, Ahmed Hassan Adam.
This conflict has been going on for 6 years. Al-Bashir himself, he said 10,000 have died without any remorse or any kind of regret, and that's very insulting actually to the memory of our victims. But at the same time, for 6 years, nobody been high level, official being prosecuted. There is no one resigned. There is no one even, regret or even offer any kind of apology or something. For 6 years, there's no one prosecuted. I think this is not a responsible government, actually.
That's not true. There are people being prosecuted at this very moment. You know them. There are people being prosecuted. And
what happened to Harun? What happened to Harun? What happened to Koshef?
It happened to so many people that they have been tried, they have been brought to justice.
I'm going to give a final word to the questioner on this, and then we're going to move on.
So 200,000, if it's 200,000, it's less fatal than 3 million? It's just statistics? No. Even if it's 200,000, it's fatal. And it's not flimsy.
All right,
I'm not talking about flimsy. Flimsy is evidence.
All right,
I'm saying that there's no case.
I'm going to take a question from the lady up there, please.
Good evening. Well, I do have one question for the
Can we know where you're from, please?
I'm from Iraq. I have one question to Mr. Adam. Don't you consider the recent cooperation with the government, al-Bashir government here in Doha as an improvement?
The cooperation of al-Bashir, when we came here in Doha, actually, we signed that agreement. But that agreement hasn't been implemented till now. In a matter of fact, they are violating that agreement.
Well,
and they are using for a long time. They are
all sides have violated agreements in the
agreement.
past, haven't
but
they?
for
Let's
the
be
long
honest
time,
about this.
let me tell you this. For the long time, the Khartoum used the negotiations and political process as a PR kind of exercise. They never been serious about it. They never commit themselves for a real peaceful solution.
So tell me this, you think the situation would have improved if, when President Bashir came down the steps of his plane, the Qatari authorities here in Doha would have arrested him there and then? That would have improved the situation,
and
would
I think
it?
Sudan will be a better place, actually.
You, sir, let's have your question.
Good evening. My name is Mohammed from Yemen. Arabs have been always fighting at the international level to get some empowerment to become an effective party of this international community. Why is it always, when there is a dirty work to be done, whoever mandates it, it comes to the Arab world to implement, but the good ones is not?
What kind of dirty work have the Arabs been asked to do other than facilitate the invasion of Iraq? I mean, they've done that. And actually, they're not about to deliver, I mean, I think
The first
surrender
thing,
al-Bashir.
I want to remind you of the fact that 12 years of siege against Iraq was orchestrated by America, and the Arab world was asked to participate effectively.
You're quite right.
And the recent example is Gaza, where Gaza was totally sealed, and all Arabs are guilty of that, and where thousands of people were massacred in front of your eyes.
I agree.